So I've collected a few things recently that I think are just quite cool, and I wanted to talk about them because I just think they're cool, and I would like someone to talk to about it. And as no one in my life gives a shit about any of this, I thought that you might. So we'll start with the Count of Monte Cristo. Now, as you can see, I've already started reading this. So I found a subreddit about a lot of people who are in a similar boat to me who wanted to read the Count of Monte Cristo, but were daunted by just how fucking huge this book is. Like, I am talking, this is what, 1,300 pages long. And I am quite a slow reader. Don't let this fool you. I'm an avid reader. I'm quite a slow reader. So the idea of a 1,300 page book is very, very daunting. But I found a subreddit filled with similar minded people who have set themselves the challenge of reading this book in a year. So not making it their main read, to take their time and read this supposed masterpiece over a year. So the way that boils down to is roughly 30 pages a week. It's about 2 or 3 chapters a week. And someone created a very helpful guide about what chapters you should read. Now, the way that it has fallen for me is that I will read this on the weekend. Saturday, Sunday night, I can get through 30 pages of quite dense French literature. And I've been doing that since the start of January. And as you can see, I'm about 130 pages in. And I think my bookmark sums up my overall feelings about this book, because the sadness and the pain that the main character Dantes has gone through in 130 pages is heartbreaking. And there are still 1,200 pages to go. I don't know what's going to happen to this poor man, but it's not going to be good. But I'm really looking forward to finding out. Thank you to that subreddit for helping me finally get into this behemoth. I wanted to read it for a very long time and was always daunted. And by breaking it up into such a way where I'm only reading this on the weekends is helping me get through it. So I might come back with an update in the coming weeks, months, years as to how far I am through this and my thoughts on the tragedy that's going to go happen. Because I know this doesn't have a happy ending, and I'm worried. I'm very worried, but we will see. But that brings into question the idea of consuming larger literature. So this will be the largest book that I've ever read. The closest I came to this was probably Stephen King's It. There was also a book which I cannot for the life of me remember, but I will put an image here, which is about 800 pages by the guy who wrote The Perks of Being a Wallflower. Very good book. I've also got, I don't know if you can see, right there, that is my current Brandon Sanderson collection, and I've read the original Mistborn trilogy, and I'm now on The Way of Kings. And similarly to The Count of Monte Cristo, The Way of Kings is quite a chunky book, especially because it's only book 1 in the Stormlight Archive. Yeah. And I've been put off reading this for a long time because of its size. Like, I bought this in June of 2024. However, this is changing my mindset a bit. So, when I finish this at the end of the year, I might delve into The Way of Kings and the Stormlight Archive as a whole. So Brandy Sandy can be my weekend fling as opposed to my weekday normal reading. So as I'm reading this on the weekends, my current weekday read is that I'm rereading The Hunger Games for no apparent reason. No reason at all. You know, nothing in the world at the moment is making me want to reread that book series. So I'm reading that during the week, reading this on the weekend. And finally, the last thing that I want to talk about is a set of books that I used to collect when I was a wee nipper back in the day. So if you can imagine me in the 90s, which is a lot like this, but, you know, shorter and less pretentious, I used to collect these, which are the fantasy fighting game books, which are essentially a choose your own adventure D&D story-esque before D&D was so prolific. And it is a single, essentially like a single player game where you follow the story along, and you have an adventure sheet that you can fill in, and you play the game. And based on your choices, you either win or lose. And I used to adore these when I was little. Like, these were quite prolific in charity shops in the 90s and noughties. You would be very hard pressed to go into a charity shop and not find a book by Ian Livingstone. And these covers are wonderfully grotesque. So as a child, I adored them. So I used to buy them all. And I had a massive collection. And I wouldn't do like the full game. So like I would never take notes. I would just read the book, choose my decisions, and then if I went wrong, I would just go back and make a different choice to just try and read the story. And the unfortunate thing was that when I got older, I stupidly got rid of them all. I returned them from whence they came. They went back to the charity shop for whatever reason. The annoying thing is that I had these editions. So this version of the series with these incredible artwork, and I got rid of them all. What was I thinking? I don't know. These books have since been reprinted a handful of times with some new modern covers, which, compared to these, are dog shit. These covers are wonderful, and yet they decided to rebrand them with modern audiences in mind. Why you would do that? Fuck knows. Actually, no, I know why. But that's a shame, because these covers are gorgeous. So you might be sitting there wondering, well, if you've got rid of them all, how come you have The Forest of Doom in your hand? I did a late night eBay purchase. I, for whatever reason, at 1, 2 in the morning, thought back to my days collecting these books and the fondness that I had for them. And I went searching on eBay. And there's something that I've learned, which present Thomas is very pissed off about past Thomas, is that these covers go for a lot of money nowadays. These editions are quite sought after. Understandably so, because the new editions look dog shit. So if I wanted to get a collection of these covers, which I originally had mind, and bearing in mind I was buying these in charity shops in the 90s, so I was buying these for about 25p a pop, if that. Whereas now, they're going for, 15, 20, 30 quid. Collections of random books are going for 50 quid. They're going for 100 quid. Past me has a lot to answer for. Not that I would sell them if I still had them, but it would be nice to know that people are finally taking these seriously. So I managed to find this one from a seller on eBay for the very good price of about 6 quid, as opposed to the 15, 20 quid that other people were asking for. I think mainly because of its condition. Like, aside from the pencil, I don't know if you can see that, but there's quite a lot of pencil mark on there. There's a bit of damage just from constant rubbing out. Like, there's a bit of tape there, and obviously it has been used. It has been read and enjoyed, which endears me to it more than if it was brand new. So I think that's why I was able to get it for such a low price of £6, as opposed to the 25p I paid 25 years ago. So I might start collecting these again, specifically these covers, because I love them, but also because there's also some sort of nostalgic feel to know that little Thomas was reading these and enjoying these, but also because now that I am a fully grown adult with disposable income, I play a lot of TTRPG, I play a lot of Dungeons and Dragons. So being able to essentially do a Dungeons and Dragons campaign on my own would be quite fun. So yeah, that's why I bought this. So now, I don't know about you, but I think these are really cool. I think all of these are really cool in their own separate ways. And whether you do too or not, absolutely fine. I just wanted to have an excuse to talk about these for a bit. So I hope you enjoyed. If you don't know who I am, how have you got to this point in the video and are still watching? But I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you again soon. Hi, thanks for watching. If you want more from me or to learn more about my book Asylums, you can do so via this QR code here or via the link on my page.